Hi, Coach. Amy Twiggs here with Flippin' Awesome Coaching. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to process and allow feelings. Okay, we just kind of talked about in the last one how it's important to do this. Now let's talk about how to do it. There is no way around a negative emotion. As they say, the only way around is through, which means we need to learn how to process them. And when we become curious and willing to experience these vibrations in our body, we typically feel that they're not such a big deal after all. Most coaches and athletes hesitate to open themselves to negative emotion because they imagine that the experience will be intolerable, or worse yet, that they will fall into some sort of a black hole and won't be able to climb out. There are several practical things that we can all do to allow and process a feeling. Okay, so pretend that you are describing the experience to a Martian who has never experienced a feeling, and this is a mental core workout right here. Okay, and this would be a good one to share with your athletes. And then you write it down. So the Martian who's never experienced any emotions, and you write it down. What, like I said before, what does it feel like? Where is it in the body? Where do you feel it? What are you thinking? Okay, and you describe a negative emotion the way you experience it as though you were describing it to a Martian. And he's like, I have never heard of emotions. What are you talking about? So for example, let's take anger. It feels hot and it's kind of on my face. My heart rate starts increasing. I want to just explode. The vibration is fast and my eyes get blurry. When they say that you're blinded by anger, you literally are so distracted by so many other things going on in your body that you're not seeing things the same. And my mind races, right? And for me, or to me, anger feels like a fast, quivering buzz in my solar plexus and abdomen. My chest feels tight and cold and shivery. So there's different ways to feel this, okay? When you become the watcher, you want to become a watcher, but when you become the watcher of your thoughts, of your emotions, you witness yourself experiencing the emotion, seeing yourself having the feeling as though you were sitting across the room. And this will create distance. We want distance between the experience, including the thought you are choosing, and the feeling that it's creating. So a distance between the circumstance and the thought and the feeling, okay? Hold the feeling in a place of peace. Just be okay with the feeling, whatever it is. Accept the emotion and be present with it. Allow it to be there. We want to embrace discomfort. Remember the new motivational triad. Pretend to hold it like in your hand and approach it like a child with curiosity. This is another way of learning how to process and allow an emotion. You can do it like you're talking to a Martian. You can pretend that you're just across the way from it, watching it like an observer, or you can pretend you're holding it in your hand, this emotion, and you just kind of look at it with curiosity. So you open up to the emotion and you allow it in, and then you move toward it. It's a skill. This is a skill, right, that you're going to want to develop. And once you're good at allowing emotions, it can be transformative. Okay, I already gave you a couple mental core workouts in that. But the mental core workout I'll give you right now is, can you recall a time that you were trying to avoid an emotion with one of the buffering behaviors that we discussed earlier, with overeating, oversleeping, overworking, over shopping, over drinking, whatever it was? Did you know at the time that you were buffering? Did you know you were doing this just to avoid a negative emotion? And what are your thoughts on just sitting with an emotion and allowing it to be there? Have you ever done that before? What was it like? What emotion can you imagine that you would want to eat to avoid in the future, right? What does that emotion feel like in your body? What is the worst emotion you can imagine? And then why? All right. So at this point, you should be able to demonstrate how to process and allow feelings at this point in the module, right? So we're going to go on to the magic formula, right? We've talked about the CTFAR, but how you can use it in different ways. We're going to talk about that, and we will see you in the next video.